Welcome to the Wealth Transfer. I'm Terry Sacka, Chief Strategist, along with Dr. Charles Vance. How you doing, Charles?
I'm great. Glad to have you along today. Stay around. The last couple of weeks, we've been on some things about the world financial system and how it's coming back home and
I kind of feel it's a little bit, I'm almost feeling a little bit kind of discombobulated with it. What I'm really trying to get across, I think, is, in the Trump trance concept, what we're trying to get across is, where's your state of mind that now Trump is president? Do we believe that everything is okay? I mean, we think that, we just relax, no big deal. The problem is, he may be an excellent person to solve issues. We have a lot of issues, though, that are coming, that were set up over these years that are going to be doozies to deal with. So we're going to get into today talking about the BRIC nations and China and what's getting ready to take place here right now, matter of fact, I think within the next week or so. And I want you to know, because this is a pretty big deal. And we're going to get into that, Charles. Let's jump right in. Let's just do that.
It would be impossible for Trump, as much as I'm glad that he's there, because he's one thing as a businessman, another thing he's putting some officials in that are Christian people around him, which is very important for our country and Constitution.
Right.
But he can't fix everything immediately.
Right.
And for somebody to think he can just fix things, and even expand that, fix stuff that's going on in the world, thank God he's reversing some things, but it's going to take a period of time for those things to even come to anything meaningful.
And unfortunately, Charles, I think it's too late. Obama has set up some things, and Obama's a nightmare. He set up things for Trump to fail. Not only did he set up for him to fail, he set up things that were just, to me, treasonous, but they let the officials figure that out. I mean, it's bad. Thing is, Trump he's cleaning up a dirty house, put it that way. And it's a problem. Now, where we want to go today with this China and what's happening, you really need to understand that past October, China was put into the IMF as a reserve currency basket, part of the reserve currency basket. They are now an official global reserve currency. I encourage you, go to wealthtransfernews.org and watch the past series called China and the SDR. You'll love it, because you need to understand where it's going, because this is directly impacting the dollar's buying power in the future and our financial, I don't know if you could say dominance, but without it, you're going to see some serious inflation on your money in a deflationary period. So it's just crazy. So let me just kind of educate this way. Past October, China was officially added to the International Monetary Fund's basket of currencies.
What's that mean?
Meaning there's a handful of currencies in the IMF that it'll be, United States, the euro, the pound, and the yen, and now China, of course. And what they are is these are the world reserve currencies. So if you want to do business or trade as one nation to another, you typically convert your currency to one of these reserve currencies, and then you do the trade. And so it's an easy way to facilitate trade, basically, because remember, the whole thing is about trade. Well, the dollar controlled trade really ever since World War II. Today, we are controlling roughly, 40% of the world reserve currency market. Europe was next. Well, now walks in China as an official reserve currency. Now, they're only about 10, 13% of the pie, but I'm here to tell you they're going for the piece. They're going to take market share away from the Europeans and the United States, and it's going to happen slowly but surely. And if you just see how the countries stack up economically, you'll see that the United States makes up about 24% of the global economy. In China's around 14%. But here's the other little thing. China's partners. These are people directly going after the Americans and the dollar. And this is Russia, India, South Africa. So Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and China. But these groups are known as BRICS. They not only under Obama forged this relationship, they forged a bank called the New Development Bank, which balances out the IMF. They're all in on creating an alternative financial system. And here comes walking in President Trump. He is walking into a powder keg that was set up for 8 years. And I really believe Hussein Obama was doing this on purpose to set up the global economy. So he had to give away a lot of our sovereign rights to the Chinese and the BRICS and the others in order to kind of facilitate the global order. He even gave up the internet, for Pete's sake. I mean, this guy was insane. But he was a globalist. That's just what Obama is. Now, Trump is not. Trump's a nationalist, meaning I care about our people first and then the others, which I personally have to agree with that one.
Well, so here, let's do this for a second. If you've flown in an airplane, we might have used this illustration before. When you get on there, first thing you tell you to buckle your seatbelt, and then they tell you in the unlikely event of an emergency, your mask is going to fall down. If someone next to you is not capable of putting their mask on, make sure you put yours on first so you can help those that can't get theirs on by themselves.
Charles. Yes.
So Trump says, we've got to take care of us or we can't take care of anybody else.
Amen. And
we got to do that first.
That is huge example. And this is kind of where we're at now. And Trump doing so.
And pardon me for butting in. Sure. The Bible says to love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't develop love for yourself, you don't have the ability to love your neighbor. So you've got to develop self first. I know some people think that's selfish, but it's not selfish to develop yourself so that you can help others with yourself. You have to have some worth yourself and value in yourself. So that's what he's doing with our country.
Yeah, because we've walked away from a lot of that. And, you know, under Obama, for sure. Now, it started with Clinton in the NAFTA, the trade agreement with North America, free trade agreement. Trump has said he's going to renegotiate all these. Now, here's the problem, though, and we're going to see this. He's walking in, unfortunately, it's already been set up. Just like Obamacare was already unleashed on our population, destroying middle class health premiums and skyrocketing costs on people producing just so we can give it to people who don't produce anything. It would have been better just to expand Medicaid. But the point is, Obama's already laid down the trap. So it's really sad because I guess if you're building a tall building, the foundation is the most important thing. Well, if you do a bad job on the foundation, that building's coming down. And as far as I'm concerned, Obama did a disastrous job on building a foundation for America. And Trump's coming in now, and he's got to build these buildings, but he has to redo the foundation. And that's a messy job. And it's going to get real ugly soon because these things were in motion. Not just the TPP trade agreement and other things. This is directly going to impact the dollar, our buying power, and the global economy, especially when you see what's coming in April. So let me do this. I want to get into it, but I do have to come up on a break. So let me do this because we're going to get into explaining the BRICS, what's really taking place. But before I do that, let me take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of the Wealth Transfer News.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you secure your financial future by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. The protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. And for a limited time, Cornerstone will waive your first-year transfer and setup fees when you roll over your current IRA into a gold or silver IRA. That can save you as much as $1,000. Take control of your future. Register on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or give us a call at 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.
Now, the reason I set that up with China and the world and the trading is because there's a lot coming down the pipeline in negotiating not just trade, but our new relationship. So now China is a reserve currency. So now that they're official, they're going to start eating away at the dollar's dominance as reserve currency. Now, you may not even understand what any of this means to us, but here's the bottom line. As we lose the reserve currency status, all the trillions and trillions of printed money and obligations around the world, the 75 trillion of obligations to baby boomers and Social Security and Medicare, all of this is coming, and yet we're losing our ability to dominate. That's a problem. The only reason our dollar has stayed where it has is because we were dominant militarily and financially. Now we're losing it financially. Now, some people are going to disagree, but I'm telling you, it's coming. And the data's there. It's just that right now everyone's beholden to the dollar, but at any moment this thing's getting ready to shift, and it's going to start shifting this April. Now, I don't know the exact impact off this April's decision, but wait till we explain what it is. We'll get into that.
More and more, the financial system is becoming a global financial system. And what that is doing to us is when we could have a strong GDP, a strong production, and yet control our money, then we could stay strong within ourselves. But when the world gets involved, just like you were talking about, when China becomes has such a stronghold on the world financial system, they're going to manipulate that for their good. And we probably would too, and probably have to some degree, haven't we, over the years?
Oh, no, we definitely have.
To keep control of it.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
The fact is, if they get in, and they are in, it's just a matter of them taking control of the wheel at some point. They're going to try to do that because they're producing, read stuff, pick up something and read on it, see where it's made. These people are brilliant when it comes to getting their goods around the world. So we've got to become people that are, again, Terry, I feel like I say this over and over, but we've got to be people that are looking and taking care of ourselves and our families. We've got to be people that prepare. We can't wait until there's a problem to begin to prepare. And we need to do that by making sure that we've got something tangible that is of value to us. It's very important for us to do that.
There's no doubt, because we're basing our world on the value of this dollar or our stock portfolio or bonds. We have a job. As Charles always said, as long as we are going to the movies or going out to eat, we don't think much about anything. And the problem is what we're storing is becoming increasingly less valuable in its buying power. And here's the thing. Right now, we're reserve currency dominant because we're the only ones that have veto power in the IMF. Now look at this chart. This was done all under Hussein Obama, and unfortunately, we can't get away from it now. It's already, the Pandora box is open.
I want to clear up. You said we have veto power in the IMF right now.
Yes, the U.S.
The U.S.
Only one.
So if
15%,
everybody else is voting and they decide they want to do something, we can veto that. In other words, we're controlling the International Monetary Fund.
Absolutely right.
The U.S. is.
That's exactly right.
But that's changing.
Yeah, well, yes. And I want to put this up full to let you see. The reason it's changing, over the last 8 years, we've allowed Russia and China to forge a relationship called BRICS. And BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now, they created their own bank that rivals the IMF called New Development Bank, and they've created alliances. And these alliances are definitely anti-American. Now, they're playing along with us, but believe me, their goal is to take us down as a dominant reserve currency.
They're doing that to become independent and mimicking what we have already put in place, but we are controlling, so they've put something in place just like it so that they can control it.
Yes, and get away from us.
Obviously, their goal is to get away from us and get away from our control.
That's exactly right. It's all about getting away from control.
What's it going to do financially?
Well, financially what that does is it takes our dollar's buying power and collapses it.
Because our dollar is being used around the world now, and there'll be less and less demand for it because they're going to set this other system up, says, hey, come over here, deal through that. You don't need to deal through there. We've got a better deal for you.
Well, and the other thing is we spend $1 trillion plus a year in debt, right? Basically we borrow money $1 trillion a year, almost $1 trillion a year.
The government, the country,
the government borrows almost $1 trillion a year. We're in debt. Now we need people to buy our bonds. And if they don't buy our bonds, who's going to finance our debt, you see? So this is kind of where it comes down to the problem.
If everything is shifted over, or a lot of things, even half, if half of it, the world's trade and the world bond buying is shifted over to this new bank, then there's going to be a problem for the U.S.
It already is. And matter of fact, in the bond area of our country, the foreigners haven't been buying our bonds nearly as much as they used to. It's really been our own central bank and swapping with Europe, and it's your own money market funds they've been stealing from to buy bonds as well. You just don't know it. That's why it's called government cash reserve account. But it's just really important, because if our reserve currency status gets deteriorated, which it already is, what it means is we don't have the ability to continue to print dollars into no man's land and spend money like we are. We're going to actually have to come under a budget. And not only that, it's going to cause a lot of inflation, because our dollar will be shown as its real value. So this is a real big problem for Americans that don't see it coming, but it's already in the making. It's just a matter of when, and I have a feeling it's sooner than we think. So let's try to get this up full if we can, Stephen. This is a pie chart of all the nations in the IMF. Now, the ones that you can't really see, these are all the other nations out there. This is the percentage of their voting rights. So as you can see, for instance, China only has really 6% of the voting rights. And then, of course, it's India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. Here's what I want you to notice. The United States, they're in the purple. 16.54% voting right. Anything over 15, they have the ability to veto anything. So we're the only nation that can veto something. The only other way this can happen is all these countries have to gang up against us, and they're not going to, because they're getting something from us. But these BRIC countries, that's a whole nother conversation. And these BRIC countries are against our dollar dominance, even though they're taking from us, especially India. BRICS right now, if you notice, they're 14.2%. This year, they're looking to get, because now you can take that off. What I want you to understand how this works is in the IMF, you get the percentage of the voting based on your trade, your GDP. And because these emerging markets have grown in their GDP, they've really taken market share away from the United States. This year in the IMF, those BRIC nations collectively are going to be over 15% of the voting power, which means they can veto, which means the dollar's dominance is going to be numbered.
So if they're operating as a team, putting together this new international bank, obviously they're going to have a goal. They're not just doing that for nothing.
No,
it's going to be a control issue.
The goal is simple, and this is why I'm telling you, the reason why they want to go to war with Russia, I could just tell you in 30 seconds. They've been trying to push Russia to war with Ukraine and Syria and all around. We've been trying to get Russia into war for so long. We've done a series on it showing you the NATO bases in Europe. We're like a catcher's mitt around Russia. If you're Russia, you're definitely on alert. We've been pushing Russia to war. Why? The globalists need a war. We are financially broke in the West. And the best thing to blow that out is war. And they've been pushing Russia to do this, and Russia's too smart.
Now, it's not the best for us to get in war, obviously, because that costs. But for other countries to get in war, they'll actually buy war materials from us. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, for us too. We want war materials, period. But the thing is, we need war, period, because we need to blow out the financial system.
Which is horrible.
It is, absolutely is. But now this is purely my theory. I contend that they want to go to war because they need something to distract from the massive financial calamity that is in the Western world and the world in general. If they don't, they want to blame it on somebody. They can't blame it on America's just bad money management. So if we go to war with Russia, we could blame Russia for the economic collapse that's around the corner. And they're doing it. And so while we're pressuring Russia, Russia and China and them decided, we're tired of America pushing us around. We're not going to do this anymore. And they form these alliances. So now we have these alliances against the dollar dominance. But America, I'm telling you, if we lose that reserve status and we lose a lot more market share, all these trillions that we have out there causes tremendous inflation in our house, in our country. That, of course, is a huge recipe for silver and gold to be severely higher. I know it's just a matter of time, and it's happening anyway, but I don't want the kingdom to lose. I don't want the kingdom to lose its assets, resources long term by messing around in systems of the world. So I'm going to take a quick break here. I want you to be educated, and then we'll be right back with more of the Wealth Transfer News.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you secure your financial future by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. The protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. And for a limited time, Cornerstone will waive your first-year transfer and setup fees when you roll over your current IRA into a gold or silver IRA. That can save you as much as $1,000. Take control of your future. Register on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or give us a call at 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.
How have we kept such a large share of things before all of this national or world banking has been put together? How did we keep such a large portion of the global financial system?
Well, what's interesting, Charles, is if you could think of it this way, we have blown up a really large balloon. So we kept puffing that hot air into this huge balloon. And I want people to get this. This is important. I want people to get this part of it. While we're losing this market share and we're losing our dollar dominance, it's at the same time we have grown substantially in debt obligation, in deficits, and we are broke as a nation to a degree. We have 75 trillion in unfunded liabilities going forward. We're 20 trillion in the hole. Obama himself spent 10 trillion on a credit card, and yet we didn't get anything for it. So what I want you to see is, here's a time in history, our dominance is waning. Our reserve currency is slowly losing, but I think it's going to rapidly lose quickly here. At the same time, we are done. We've had peak prosperity to a degree. We have 100 million out of work. We have just zombies running around, drug-addicted zombies in our nation. It's just horrible. Go to college and come out and you barely make $25,000 a year. So everything has changed. When I show you the charts on personal income, when we show you these charts, they mean something because it's your standard of living. Your ability to buy, sell, have inheritance for children's children, have a quality of life in your retirement. So here we are at this epic period where we're maxed out in debt, maxed out and now we got social unrest like you've never seen. Well, maybe the 60s, right? And we have China knocking on the door hard with Russia. Now, let's go do this. A couple slides here I wanted to kind of move through. I want you to consider this. Our share of the world economy has plunged by nearly half since 1960.
That's amazing.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, we came off the gold standard and we boomed, but it has plunged by half.
And that is the result of going in debt.
Yes.
But our system is a debt-based system. I wondered, I visited several countries. We've done that on mission trip. We went to Peru, we've been in India, been in Mexico, Guatemala, several different, Haiti. And I wondered, how can a country like Haiti be 2 hours from southern Florida in a plane and be so impoverished? But I've discovered that their financial system, they pay as they go. And if America had to pay, I mean, you think about this for a minute. If you can't pay as you go. Now, we've gotten ourselves in such a system of financial debt, and it's the way this currency system operates.
Yes.
If we stopped being in debt, our currency system would collapse.
Oh, we got into that. That was the whole tower effect.
Yeah.
As Charles is saying, exactly right. If we stop going into debt, we collapse. But now look at through this. We were half of the world's economy. And now we're depleted. Now look at this one. Consider this one. We're half of the world's economy since 1960, and it's depleting rapidly. Now we're cranking out just 25% of the wealth in the world each year. So we've lost like half of the world's productive wealth. And at the same time, we're in such severe debt and debt obligation going forward. Do you see why a tangible asset like silver is crucial for maintaining your buying power and wealth for the future going forward? If you're going to be short-sighted and be in the markets and go, oh, for the next month or 6 months, look at this, I can gain another 5% here or there. Man, I sure would hate to wake up one night when a lot of this starts to materialize. We have, as a nation, we're going downward, not upward. And as if we want to preserve our wealth in our retirement accounts and our future inheritance to our children, children's children, and be there for the church, we better be in the right asset. I can't show any more data than we do to help you see that. If anything, let me explain it this way. We have hit a moment of peak prosperity. We have hit a moment where we're really not going to produce a lot more. Matter of fact, we're in decline. Baby boomers were it. And now we're not producing, and we have 100 million unemployed. So it's something we need to gauge for this future and be in the right asset, because our dollars' days are numbered.
As individuals, we can make changes.
Yes, and this is the key. That's the key. So, we'll do this. We'll get back to it next week. I'm going to get more into explaining the breakdown of the IMF and the vote. You're going to see how that works out, and God bless you, okay?
Don't wait until it's too late to prepare. You can get more information if you log on to wealthtransfernews.com. We'll see you next week, same place and same time, for more of the Wealth Transfer News.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you secure your financial future by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. The protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. And for a limited time, Cornerstone will waive your first-year transfer and setup fees when you roll over your current IRA into a gold or silver IRA. That can save you as much as $1,000. Take control of your future. Register on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or give us a call at 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.